What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I want to talk about how I just finally was able to open up my 401k, and contributions are about to start being made. I'm going to go into some of the details and hopefully encourage some other people out there to make the most of their 401ks. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for a bunch of videos. Subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive bonus videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. And of course, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. They have this promo going on right now where if you click the activate button, they're going to give you 48 hours to refer one friend to the app. And upon doing so, they're going to give you 18 free stocks for the referral. Webull link in the description. Everything will be linked in the description. All right, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about the 401k. This is something that I've been talking about in a couple of videos that I've been posting over the last few weeks. And as always, this is going to be a video to listen to rather than a video to watch, unless of course you want to take a walk through the woods with me. This is all you're really going to be looking at, though. I come out here for a reason. This is what I enjoy looking at. But treat it like a radio show or a podcast. Okay, so the 401k. Long story short, it has been a pain in the neck getting this 401k started. The job that I'm working at right now used to be my part-time job in addition to my old full-time job. And as a part-timer, you have to wait a year before you're able to start making contributions. But I was told by someone, they were like, hey, actually, you know what? If you go full-time, you might be able to do it right off the bat. And then after a couple months, I actually switched my full-time job with my part-time job. I stepped up to full-time, and then my full-time job, I stepped down to part-time, and I was like, all right, I'm full-time now. But there was a miscommunication. They're like, no, you still have to wait a year. Like, all right. So I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. I still haven't hit a year, but I've gotten a promotion just a couple weeks ago. And this allows me to open up the 401k. So I finally have it open. And I finally set it up. And this promotion comes with more than just the ability to make contributions to the 401k. It actually comes with a match. So we're gonna get into this. For those of you who don't know, and I'm sure a majority of you do, a 401k is a retirement savings plan. It's a way of taking your pre-tax dollars. See, when you get paid, when you get that paycheck, whether it's a physical paycheck or that direct deposit or whatever, taxes are already taken out of it. Uncle Sam already steps in and says, hey, wait a minute. I worked hard for that too. I want my cut. He takes his cut and then you get paid. So basically, you do 40 hours a week, maybe 50 hours a week, some of us closer to 60 hours a week, maybe even more. We do all the hard work. Uncle Sam gets paid, and then we get paid. Sounds fair, right? Like, oh yeah, well, I approve of that. So taxes are already taken out. But when it comes to a 401k, your contributions, which you can choose, the way mine works, I don't know a whole lot about 401ks across the board, but the way mine works sounds like it would be the standard. You can choose between 1% and 75%. And if you're making a tremendous amount of currency, I don't think you can even get anywhere close to that 75% because there is a limit. You can only contribute so much per year. But the way mine works is I can choose between making a 1% contribution, 1% of my pre-tax dollars, or all the way up to 75% of my pre-tax dollars. But who on God's green earth earns enough to live off 25% of their earnings? Not me, at least. Maybe you. Good for you if that's possible for you, but it's not possible for me. I cannot live off of a quarter of my paycheck. I can barely live off of my entire paycheck. But here's the thing. A 401k is taking whatever percent you choose of your pre-tax dollars, which is more. 1% of your gross pay is a larger amount than 1% of your net pay. 1% of your pre-tax dollars are more, it's a larger amount of currency, than 1% of your post-tax dollars. Because after taxes, you have less money. Who would have thought? So that's what a 401k is. It's taking a certain percent of your choosing and putting it into this tax-advantaged retirement savings account. And it defers those taxes till later on down the road when you are eligible to retire and start withdrawing from it. Now you can take the entire 401k and cash out the very first day you're eligible to without an early withdrawal fee and pay taxes on the whole thing if that's what you want to do, or you can withdraw a portion of it little by little by little. And the taxes are deferred, which a lot of people don't like the idea of this. They're like, oh yeah, well, I gotta pay taxes later on. Yeah, but you don't have to pay taxes now. By making a contribution to this tax-advantaged account, you are, number one, lowering your tax bill right now, because on paper you're taking home less money, and it defers the taxes to later. And a lot of people don't like, well, you gotta pay taxes later. What's the difference? Because you have a larger amount of currency going in. It gets the snowball rolling quicker, faster. And you have a larger amount of currency later on than you would, or potentially would, if you were investing your post-tax dollars. Now that doesn't mean that the other way of investing means that you would end up with less money. There are different forms of tax-advantaged accounts, but that's just what a 401k is. It's taking a percentage of your choice, of your pre-tax dollars, and putting it into this account. And it grows and grows and grows over the course of several decades, and the taxes are deferred until later on down the road when you start withdrawing or when you cash out entirely. So that's what a 401k is. And that's what I've been waiting almost a year to finally become eligible, finally be able to open up. Had to wait a year, but I got a promotion after 10 months and now I'm eligible a little bit earlier than expected. And what comes along with my 401k is a 5% match. Now that right there, that was a major selling point for me when it came to this promotion. I wanted the promotion either way, but I was weighing out some of the pros and cons. I was like, all right, promotion would be good, obviously. I like that job a little bit better. I was already doing it, as a fill-in guy, and I applied to do it permanently. Mostly pros, but there were some cons, which we're not going to get into, but because that's a whole different thing. There were some cons. I was like, yeah, it'd be great for this reason, but maybe not so great for that reason. But then I learned that I get a 5% match. And that was one of the big selling points for me. And I learned out even more selling points afterwards. Positives that I wasn't even aware of, which we'll also get into. But the 5% match means you get 100% match up to your first 5% contribution. So let's just say 5% of your gross pay is $50. 5%, just, a nice solid round number, $50. 5% of your pre-tax dollars going into this account every week, $50. They match that 5%. So for every $50 you put in every week, they put $50 in. So right off the bat, if you think about it, you're kind of seeing a 100% return every week. You put $50 in and boom, magic trick, it's $100 because the company matches it. Now, obviously there will be market fluctuations. It will go up and it also will go down. But over the course of several decades, I think we all understand. People typically walk away with way more. So that 5% match, that's what it is. A 100% match up to 5%, which means if I were to say to myself, you know what, I'm going to start making 10% contributions. Instead of that $50 a week being taken out and put into the account, $100. Well, the company still matches 5%, so no, they're not going to match the full $100. They're still going to give you that $50. Which means I'm taking $100 out of my gross pay, and $150 end up going into the account because they're still giving me that $50 or that 5%. 10% of my gross pay, and they're matching half of it. Now, of course, if you contribute less than 5%, that's all they're going to match. If you're like, yeah, I'm only going to put in 2%, well, then they're going to match the 2%. They're not going to give you 5% if you're not even doing 5%. Which is why I'm going to start off with 5%. And I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to contribute a little bit more. I know I'm only going to get the 5% match, but I want to contribute as much as possible. Now, I haven't even made my first contribution yet. That's how recently I opened up this account. I'm filming this video Saturday morning. By the way, 7 o'clock in the morning on my only day off. I'm out here creating content and putting in work for the almighty YouTube algorithm. Who's doing it? No one. Probably because they're smarter than me. But here's the thing. I'm gonna see if I am able to contribute more than 5%. Now, of course, I am able to. I'm able to contribute up to 75%, but I'm gonna see what's affordable. I'm gonna see what's possible for me and make it so that my bills are covered. Make it so that I can for sure keep the roof over my head and keep food in the fridge, keep my car on the road, and be able to fuel up so I can get to work every day, and continue taking enough out of my net pay, enough out of my post-tax dollars to make weekly contributions to my Roth IRA, which is a different type of tax-advantaged retirement account, so that I'm on track to maxing it out for the year, and still taking some dollars out of my post-tax paycheck and making contributions to my regular investing account. Just my normal one, just the one that most people use. It's not tax advantaged, although you could argue that it kind of is, because you're paying less in taxes for passive income than you are active income, but my regular investing account. After I crunch the numbers and figure out to the penny, I want to see if I can bump up my 401k contributions to the point where I'm living paycheck to paycheck. That's kind of what the plan is for me. I don't have massive expenses at this time. I've spent the last couple of years reducing my expenses or eliminating expenses altogether. I'm not much of a spender to begin with, so I don't need thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of leftover currency every single month. Of course, I want as much as possible, but at this time, I would rather funnel as much as possible into the 401k and make the most of that 5% match. So anyway, regardless, what I'm planning on doing at this time is sticking with 5% for a little while. 5% is absolutely doable for me, and I get the 5% match, so you better believe I will be making the most of that. In my opinion, it's almost irresponsible to not make the most of that. If that option is on the table, I think it's like borderline mandatory to make the most of that, at least in my book. So that's one method that I'm doing. And I'm, like I said, like I was starting to say before, I'm filming this on a Saturday morning. That account for me, was just opened up, I believe, on like Wednesday or Thursday. That's how new this account is. It currently has $0 in it. I haven't even made my first contribution yet. That's how new it is. I have last time I got paid was before the account was open, and I get paid on a weekly basis. That's how new this account is. So I'm just getting started. I haven't even gotten started, and I got a ways to go. I got a couple of decades to go, and I'm fine with that. I got the time. I don't mind putting in the time. I don't mind putting in the work. I don't mind building something up from scratch. So not only am I eligible for this tax-advantaged account, not only do I get a 5% match, but I also learned that what comes along with this promotion is an HSA. Now, the HSA is optional. I chose to go with it though. And if you choose to go with it, the company that I work for makes a $250 contribution to your HSA every single year. Now, if that's all I want to go with, that's what I can go with. I was just like, all right, yeah, I'll just ignore it, and every year the company will put $250 in. But I decided to match that. I decided to have $10 taken out of every paycheck over the course of a year. That's $250. So I'm putting $250 in, and the company's putting $250 in. That's a total of $500 going into this HSA. It's a health savings account. It's a way of taking, once again, pre-taxed dollars, putting it into an account. You can invest those pre-tax dollars within the HSA, or leave it as cash, whatever. And then you can spend those pre-tax dollars tax-free on health-related expenses. So like an ambulance or crutches or just like things like that. Eligible health-related expenses, medical expenses, things like that. That's what you can use this for. So it's triple tax advantaged. Lowers your tax bill, grows tax-free, and can be spent tax-free as long as it's for something health or medical related. So $500 a year will be going into that, half from me, half from the company. And if you want to max out the HSA, it's over $3,000. So I'm nowhere close to maxing out the HSA. But at this time, I'm all right with that. At this time, I'm not even maxing out the 401k. I'm just making the most of the 5% match, and I may consider contributing a little bit more than 5%. But that's what my 401k is looking like at this time. How will the pre-taxed dollars be invested within the 401k? Well, it varies person to person and company to company. It is not going into the company that I work for. The company that I worked for's stock. That, even though this is the company that I believe in, if I didn't believe in the company long term, I wouldn't be working for the company, and it's technically a recession-proof company in a recession-proof industry. Either way, poor management can screw everything up when it comes to earnings reports and stuff like that, and it could just obliterate the stock. So going for an individual stock long term like that, to me, doesn't sound like the right move. So I'm going to be going with a blend of either index funds or mutual funds. They offer, I forget what it's called, anticipated, retirement years or expected retirement years or whatever. So if your plan is to retire in 2040, they have a fund for you. 2050, 55, 60, whatever it is, they have a fund for you. And it's an actively managed account, which comes with a slightly higher expense ratio than if you were to manage it yourself. Most people are probably better off paying a slightly higher expense ratio to have somebody else manage it, because most people have no idea how to even budget their weekly, expenses and whatnot. So, who are they to set up an entire retirement account for themselves? Most people have zero idea what they're even doing, so they're probably better off having somebody else manage it. But either way, these mutual funds or index funds, a blend of a variety of different types of stocks, a variety of different types of sectors, all meshed into one. And the way that it's managed, typically, if you're just getting started, it's much more aggressive when you are in the infant stages of building up this 401k. It's much more aggressive. It's much more focused on growth up front. And as time goes by, as you get closer and closer and closer to your planned retirement age, it becomes more conservative. They focus a little bit more on stability. How you doing? Focuses more on stability, probably much more bond heavy, for example. But that's typically how it works. And if you're going to go with an actively managed mutual fund or whatever, that's probably how it's going to look. Or you can do it your own way, manage it yourself for a slightly lower expense ratio, and just go with broad market index funds. Broad market index fund and chill. And again, it's tax deferred, so your pre-tax dollars are going in and you get taxed later on down the road. You don't pay taxes on anything until later. So a larger amount of dollars are going in because it's dollars that haven't been taxed yet, than if you were to take your dollars that have already been taxed and put them in. Your dollars before they're taxed, there's a larger amount of them going in up front. But on the flip side, it's what a Roth IRA is. It's the same thing, but the opposite. It's also a tax-advantaged account. You invest your post-tax dollars, your dollars that have already been taxed, into this account, and it grows over time, and then when you are eligible to retire, you can start withdrawing or cash out entirely 100% tax-free. So there are pros and cons. Both are good for different reasons. Both have their upsides and their downsides. Would you rather pay taxes now and be completely tax-free later? Or would you rather be tax-free in the meantime, lower your tax bill now, and then pay taxes on potentially a larger amount of gains later on? One is not good, one is not evil. Like, they're both fantastic for completely different reasons. You just have to figure out which one makes more sense for you. But you're not limited. No one's telling you, oh, you can only have one. You have to pick one, and that's what it is. That's what it is. That's it. Make your decision final. Nope. Guess what? You can have both. I have both. I opened up my Roth IRA, I think about 2.5 years ago. Now, the first year I opened it up toward the end of the year, so I didn't even have the ability to max it out that year. The following year, I chose not to max it out. I was just making a monthly contribution. And then the following year, which was this year, I decided starting this year, I'm going to make a weekly contribution, and it's going to be enough so that by the time 52 weekly contributions go by, I will have maxed it out. So that's what I've been doing with the Roth IRA this entire year. And now that I'm finally eligible to make contributions to the 401k, I'm going to be making the absolute most of that 5% match. It's all strategy. It's all strategy. Now, some people work for companies that don't offer a 401k. I think that's not a great idea. That's what I was doing before I was working for this company, and it was kind of discouraging knowing that there were no real perks and whatnot Granted, there was more money, there was like a little bit more take-home pay than I would get elsewhere, but there was absolutely no other upside. There was no paid time off, there was no overtime, no holiday pay, no Sunday pay, no 401k, no sick days, no health, vision, dental insurance, no HSA, none of that. Absolutely nothing except more take-home pay, which several years ago, see, I'm a young guy to begin with, but several years ago when I was an even younger young guy, I was like, yeah, what do I need all that for? I'd rather have the take-home pay. I'd rather have more take-home pay and not have all the perks and benefits and bonuses and whatnot. So that's just the route that I took. But now I've decided to move in a slightly different direction. Now I've decided I want to set myself up not just in one way, but in a variety of different ways. Which is, if you think about it, I have 3 different retirement accounts being built all at the same time. Well, 2 retirement accounts, and then I have my regular investing account, which I'm building up, which I also plan on using for my retirement, but it's not tax advantaged. It's not considered a retirement account. It's just something that I'm building up for, well, for number one, a variety of different reasons, but I plan on building it up over the next couple of decades into my retirement. It's not a retirement account, but it's an account that I will eventually be using for my retirement. So I have that, my regular investing account. I have my Roth IRA, and now I have my 401k getting started. And not only that, I am considering switching part-time jobs. See, my old full-time job, I still do that, but very, very part-time now. I'm considering leaving altogether and getting a part-time job elsewhere. Reason being is so that, well, this other company, similar to the company that I work for, whether you're part-time or full-time, you gotta wait a year to start making 401k contributions. So what if I do that as well? What if I'm making 401k contributions to my full-time job and I get a part-time job, and after a year goes by, now I start making contributions to that other job's 401k. Now I have 2 401ks. 2 tax-advantaged retirement accounts being built up with 2 different jobs, 2 different companies. My own personal Roth IRA, which I'm doing 100% on my own. It's completely customized my way. It's structured my way. A blend of 4 different index funds, balanced my way. I have a variety of different retirement accounts. Not to mention everything that I'm doing on the side. Not to mention everything else that I'm working on. And I spend very little. I spend close to nothing. To be honest, at this point, the only currency that I spend are on the things that I'm required to. Keep a roof over my head, keep food in the fridge. I don't go out and spend. I don't buy things for myself. There's nothing that I want. You know, I've explained this to people and be like, oh, it's not good to deprive yourself. What am I depriving myself of? I don't want these things. I could have went and got, you know, a fancier car or something like that, but what's the difference? You're like, oh, you could have went and got an Audi instead. I was like, who cares? I went and got myself a nice new Ford. It drives me to work the same way a brand new Audi would drive me to work. Or a BMW. Oh, but one's faster. Okay, so you want me to spend more money on something that's going to get me speeding tickets than something that costs me less money that isn't going to get me any speeding tickets? I don't understand. We shouldn't deprive yourself. What am I depriving myself of? I'm building something up for myself. The people that say that I'm depriving myself, in my opinion, they're depriving themselves of an actual, you know, retirement. a lot of the people that are saying these things to me are going to be, you know, still breaking their backs in their 70s and 80s. You know, I don't want to, you know, pick on anybody, but there's this one guy at my job. He's 85 years old. He's 85. He's still there. Now, maybe he's there by choice. I can't imagine myself doing anything at 85. But anyway, I digress. That's all personal preference. I'm sure he has his reasons. Maybe something unexpected happened and he was forced to keep working, or maybe he already retired and he got this as a part-time. I don't know what he did. I don't really know him that well. One of the nicest guys in the world. But point being is that there are a lot of people that say things to me about, like, oh, like you should have some money on fun. You should spend money on fun. You should treat yourself. I am treating myself. You buy fancy toys and I buy stocks. That's fun for me. I get enjoyment out of that. And not to mention, a lot of the things that I consider fun cost no money. Going for a walk in the woods with my camera, talking about things that I enjoy talking about, that's fun to me. And it cost me $0 to do this. My idea of fun is not going on this vacation and spending money on a plane ticket and spending money on a hotel and spending money on all these, you know, fancy special attractions and stuff like that and doing all these activities. To me, that's not fun. To a lot of other people, that's fun. They're like, oh, I want to go to Disney World. I want to go here. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to go on a cruise. I want to go on a trip to Italy. A lot of people have these goals, these plans, these dreams. And if that's what they're interested in, that's what they should do. I have absolutely zero interest in any of those things. I have no desire to do any of that. I've never been to Disney World in my life. Most of the people that I know, they went to Disney World maybe when they were a kid, maybe when they were adult. I've never been there. Never in my life been to Disney World. And I'm fine with that. I wish somebody would have taken me when I was a kid. I feel like that'd be a pretty cool thing to check off. Like, oh yeah, I went to Disney World. You know, a lot of people, you know, this big memorable experience. Never been there. And I'm fine with that. I have no desire to go now. Would it be fun if I had to go? And by the way, I don't even know the difference between Disney World and Disneyland. I think Disneyland is the one that's in California. Disney World is the one in Florida. I could be wrong, but I don't know or care enough to check. But if I just had something that I had, if I had to go to Florida for some reason, and it was nearby Disney World, and let's just say maybe it was like for business or something like that, and part of, there was something that, I don't know, like, long story short, if I had to go to Florida for some reason and somebody offered me a free trip to Disney World, absolutely I'd go. By the way, this has nothing to do with Disney World. I was just using them as an example. It could be freaking Chuck E. Cheese for all I care. Point being is that I don't find those things fun, so why would I go out of my way to do those things? Who goes out of their way to do something that they don't want to do? Who goes out of their way and spends money on things that they have no interest in? I can't think of anybody that does that. What I consider fun is usually free. I like camping. I like hiking. I like being outdoors. You know, it's summer. I work like on the Jersey Shore now. I can go to the friggin' beach. Stuff like that. That right there is fun. For me, that's what I consider to be fun. That's how I like to spend my time. I like camping. I like going out and filming videos. I like taking a walk in the woods. I like being outdoors. Being outside is free. So what I happen to enjoy doing also just happens to be free. So that's that. Oh, you deprive yourself. What am I depriving myself of? I'm getting all the sunshine, fresh air, and exercise, and you're lacking all three of those things. You're depriving yourself if you're not outside. Anyway, I don't know how I got on that track, but anyway, this is supposed to be a 401k video. That's why I set up a 401k. That's how I set up a 401k, and that's what my contributions are going to be looking like at this time. Right now, I'm going to be taking 5% of my gross pay, making that 5% contribution and making the absolute most of that 5% match that my company has to offer, and on the side, making a $250 a year contribution to my HSA, which the company also puts $250 into. So it's just another form of a tax-advantaged account. That's kind of what my interest is at this time. That's where my mind is at. That's what I'm focused on at this time. I want to build something up for myself, and I like working with the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I like seeing the numbers go up. I like crunching the numbers. I like rebalancing portfolios, and that's what I consider fun. It's a hobby of mine. That's what I enjoy doing, and that's what I'm gonna keep on doing until I find something else that I like more. Anyway, I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. If your company offers a 401k, are you utilizing it? And on top of that, if they offer a match, a company match, whether it's 1%, 2%, 5%, some other percent, are you making the most of the company match? Head on down to the comments and let me know. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive bonus content. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. And of course, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. You can deposit as little as you'd like, even as little as a penny. It still works, it still counts. You still get your up to 12 free fractional shares. And they have a promo going on right now where if you click the little activate button, they're going to set a 48-hour timer. And if you refer one friend within those 48 hours, they're going to give you 18 free bonus stocks for the referral. It's part of their advertising budget. Rather than wasting currency on billboards and TV commercials and things that nobody really cares about anymore, they reward the users for helping them build their app with them. Webull link in the description. Everything is linked in the description. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know one more time. When it comes to tax-advantaged retirement accounts, are you building yourself up a 401k? If so, how long have you been building this up? You don't have to share dollar amounts. I don't think that's a very smart idea. You can if you want to, but percentage-wise, what does your contribution look like? 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 30%? Does your company match anything? And of course, when it comes to an HSA, is that offered to you as well? Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.